Hey everybody, it is Gordon Majak here, back with another episode of Timeless Pop, Rock, and Soul. And friends, believe me when I say that this episode may very well be the single most important and most meaningful episode that I have ever done, at least from my perspective. And that is because of the incredible connection that I feel to this song, which I'm going to play for you here in a second, which is not only one of my all-time top 10 songs, but it's the reason that it's in my all-time top 10. As I explained earlier here in part one yesterday with the Gino Vanelli video for Wheels of Life. Earlier today, we had part two with the great Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders singing that Bob Dylan song, Forever Young. And here in part three, we are going to be listening to the great Ray Charles sing a song called If I Could. And you all know from my previous explanations here in these last few videos that this trilogy was intended as sort of my best attempt to convey musically the gamut of bittersweet emotions that I have been dealing with and been overwhelmed by, to be honest with you. Overwhelming emotion here in this last week and a half, 2 weeks. Just an emotional roller coaster as my daughter goes away to college. And it was just this past week here, just a few days ago, that we delivered her back there in North Carolina for school. And quite a change, quite a life change for her and certainly for us. And so I have been trying to convey musically here, as I said, been trying to put these emotions into music. And I have played a couple of my favorites so far there, Gino Vanelli, Wheels of Life, and the Pretenders doing that Bob Dylan song, Forever Young. And this one, like I said, comes all the way up into my top 10 because of the tremendous personal attachment that I have to this song. So you already know the personal background here. I'll give you just a little more on that in a second because I don't think I'm going to be able to talk after this song gets finished playing here. So this might be a pretty short video. But before we get to that, let me give you some background on the song itself, and I'll tell you very quickly how I discovered it. Now, this is a record from 1993. Here is our album. This is Brother Ray Charles and an album called My World. 1993, Ray Charles, My World. Now, I discovered this album and discovered this song back there in 1993 when I was doing my job as a music programmer. And Ray Charles, I noticed, had a song that was getting some airplay on the adult contemporary radio. And I was looking for some music for a program I was working on. So I went and tracked down this CD to check out the song that I had not heard that was getting some radio airplay. And that song was Ray's remake of an old Leon Russell song called Song for You. And it turned out it was a pretty great version, and I think I probably used it on my program. But much more importantly than that was as I went through this album, My World, by Ray Charles there in 1993, much more important than finding the song I was looking for was finding the song that I was not looking for. And that is in the form of a song called If I Could. Now, I want to give credit here because this song means so much to me and the way it's put together is just so beautiful and so timeless and so perfect and just eternally meaningful to me. I want to give full credits here to the musicians and the talented people behind the scenes on this record before we talk a little bit more about Ray Charles, and then I'll jump into the song. If I Could was written by the team of Ken Hirsch, Marty Sharon, and Ron Miller. Musicians-wise, we have the great Jeremy Lubbock on the arrangement and conducting the orchestra. We have the late, great Jeff Porcaro on drums, Jimmy Johnson on bass, the great Paul Jackson Jr. on guitar, Randy Waldman on synthesizers, Randy Kerber on synthesizers, the great Greg Fillinganes on the piano, and of course, the one and only Ray Charles singing. Now, I found this song there, as I said, when I was looking for another song on the Ray Charles album. And now keep in mind, this is 1993, and my daughter was not even born until 2001. And in fact, I didn't even meet my wife until 1997. So this is a full 4 years before I even met my wife, and 8 years before I ever even thought of having a child. And yet, when I heard this song playing through the Ray Charles CD, I heard this song for the first time and I thought, wow, that is not only a really well done, well written, and well performed, well produced song, that is a pretty meaningful song. Those lyrics really jumped out and grabbed me. And this is at a time in my life, 1993, I would have been 35 years old. So I was single. I wasn't even in a committed relationship. I had no intentions or thoughts of having children at any time soon, but that song, which is sung from the perspective of a parent to a child, just like the Bob Dylan song, that song, if I could, touched me in a pretty powerful way, considering that my own personal life circumstances bore no resemblance to the lyrics whatsoever. But it was just really an intuitive connection and a spiritual connection. I really felt the depth and the meaning and the love in that beautiful song there in 1993. Well, fast forward to 2001, when my daughter was actually born, after I'd gotten married, of course, and had my one and only child in 2001. And of course, that song had always sort of stuck with me and over the years. And when I got to the point where I actually had a child of my own, and then I went back and listened to that song again. And folks, I went from a point of having always liked that song for the roughly 8 years that I had known about it. Once my daughter was born, I went from liking that song and thinking it was a pretty cool, pretty touching piece of music in sort of a detached way, to thinking that it's one of the great things that I've ever heard in my life, and one of the most important and profound and deeply touching and moving pieces of music that I have ever heard. And it just happened instantly once I had a child, and I had that perspective as a parent. And hearing Ray Charles sing these beautiful lyrics, and of course, you guys already know what I think about Ray Charles. I talk about Mount Rushmore of music, and Ray Charles to me, and I might give some consideration here to Aretha Franklin as well, but Ray Charles, to me, just the single greatest and most important and my most beloved vocalist of my entire lifetime. There is not a soul on this planet, to me, that I think has ever been better than Ray Charles as a singer. Obviously, such a vast career that Ray had, spanning so many decades and so many different styles of music, and he mastered virtually everything that he ever touched. But here at the age of, I looked it up, and Ray Charles would have been 63 years old when he cut this record in 1993. Just about the age, just slightly younger than I am now. But he gave a performance on this song. I don't even want to oversell it. I'll just let you guys hear it. This song has brought me to tears so very many times. I don't know. There are probably more times that this song has made me lose it than there have been times that I was able to listen to it and get all the way through it and not lose it. And I'm not even joking. I always loved it anyway, but once I had my daughter, my whole appreciation and my whole understanding and my feel for the weight of these lyrics and the beauty of these lyrics went to a whole different level. So I really want to share that with you guys. I'm going to do everything I can to get through this video. Like I said, this is an all-timer for me, folks. Taking my daughter back there to college in North Carolina. We're going to try and wrap it up right here, and I hope I can get through it. But I just do my best. So let's just get to the music and see what happens. I already showed you the album cover. If you're a parent yourself, if you're a grandparent, if you know someone who's a parent who is right in this same time as I am right now, taking their child to college for the first time, or their child going away to college for the first time, their child moving out for the first time, please send them this video and please let them know that I am right there with them. From 1993, it is the one and only Ray Charles from his album My World and a song called If I Could.
If I could, I'd protect you from the sadness in your eyes, give you courage in a world of compromise. Yes, I would, if I could. I would teach you all the things I never learned, and I'd help you cross the bridges that I've burned. Yes, I would, if I could. I would try to shield your innocence from time, but the part of life I gave you isn't mine. I watched you grow so I could let you go. If I could, I would help you make it through the hungry years. But I know that I could never cry your tears. But I would if I could.
Now you see why I say Ray Charles, my number one of all time. Man, nobody could sing like that brother, Mr. Ray Charles, singing If I Could. And in case you're wondering, yes, my daughter does know about this song. I have played the song for her and shared the lyrics with her and told her how much it means to me as it concerns her life and her future. So, yes, she is aware of it. That's about all I have to say for this one, folks. Short and sweet. We are going to move on to some other music in our next videos, but I really, really needed to do these three here. The Gino Vannelli, Wheels of Life, Pretenders, Forever Young, and of course this one, Ray Charles, If I Could. Really needed sort of some catharsis here for the situation that I have been going through with my dearly beloved daughter, Sabrina, who is now back in North Carolina, going to college and pursuing her dreams. And it's a beautiful and bittersweet thing, friends. And like I said, if you are the parent of a college-age child or know someone who is, please do me a huge favor and share this video with them. I know it will mean a lot to them, just like it does to me. Thank you so much, friends. I will see you on the next one. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit and head in a little bit different direction. Thank you so much for sticking with me through these three videos, these past three. Really means a lot to me. Take care. Ray Charles, man. Wow. He sings that. I was thinking about it today. He sings it from the perspective of a father singing to a child. But he sounds like a father, a grandfather, a godfather, our Father in heaven. Take your pick, man. That is the voice from on high. Ray Charles, no joke.